Hello, we will continue this tutorial not using colored pencils but my favorite pencil, which is pastel pencils. This is the drawing. We will continue doing it on this particular video. On part 1, if you haven't seen it, the link is below in the description and in the comment. But this time, I'll be showing you stage 2, 3, and 4 because in part 1, I show you the first stage, which is the blocking in of shadow stage. At this particular video, I will be showing you the greening stage, the deepening stage, and the warming stage. So I hope you watch this video and I hope that you learn something from this particular drawing tutorial in real time. So this is the greening stage. As you can see, we already put white on the highlights. Now we are ready for this stage. I like this stage because it really works well with pastel pencils. Not so much with colored pencils. You can add green very lightly with colored pencils, but you cannot really put heavy greening with colored pencils. But with pastel pencils, because this greening stage is in essence like the verdaggio technique. Have you heard about that technique, the verdaggio technique? That is a very old green underpainting technique that is used by old Italian masters of portraiture. I think the verdaggio technique was used also by Da Vinci, by Vermeer, and even Van Eyck. Those very famous old masters use the verdaggio technique on oil paints because this is like a green underpainting to make the human skin tone or flesh look more realistic and look more glowing. As you can see on old masters drawing with oil painting, they use green as underpainting to that create that kind of classic glowing skin tone, human skin tone. So that is the closest that you can get with pastel pencils because if you are like me who is afraid of oil, of watercolor, of acrylic, any liquid medium, in portraiture, I'm really afraid. As you can see, I focus on dry medium or pencil form medium like colored pencils, pastel pencils, graphite, and charcoal pencils. Any pencil dry medium because I'm very afraid of using oil or watercolor for portrait. So this is what I love using because I find it really easy. Now I apply using this pastel pencils the green foundation technique or the verdaggio, just like what old masters do in oil painting, because pastels is the closest that you can get to a liquid medium because it really looks like an oil painting. A lot of artists compare pastel, the effect of pastels is very similar to an oil painting. So this is the closest that I can get to an oil portrait painting, so using pastel pencils. So and I can apply just the essence of the verdaggio technique here using different shades of green. I used the darkest green a while ago on the shadows, on the darkest shadows, and here we have the leaf green middle, which is obviously for the mid-tones, as you can see on this Taylor Swift skin tone. And you will see how this technique can add depth to our drawing and to make the skin tone glow, as you can see, because based on my reference photo, she's holding a lighter with a flame right here on the left side. So the effect is a very nice light or glowing skin tone, especially on the right side of the face and the nose right here. So adding green will help us deepen the shadows, and at the same time it will give a very nice, beautifully saturated glowing skin tone, especially when we added above this green foundation, when we add later on pink tones or reddish tones to make it blush a little bit. So now this is the deepening stage. I just would like to deepen my darkest shadows, where I used on part 1 of this video, I used black and dark brown, I think, and like a deep maroon color. And now I'm gonna deepen, and to make the shadow look more natural, I'm gonna use this deep violet only on the very dark shadows, like here on the eye part and the nostrils of the nose, some parts of the lips, and some other dark shadows. I will put this deep violet, and it will make a really nice natural depth to our drawing. So this compared to colored pencils, I think what I can say about these pastel pencils is that it gives a more artistic look or quality to a portrait. So I can say that if you like accept commission portraits using pastel pencils, you have to charge more compared to colored pencils because it really is has a more artistic quality, if I explain it right, or look, especially if you use this green foundation technique with pastel pencils. Now this is the warming stage. We are just gonna warm the green tone because to make it more natural, because this is second to the last stage. We just like to warm the green a little bit. So I use this French red ochre for my darkest shadows only, so to warm the dark shadows, because the violet is very intense. So we are going to warm it a little bit using this two colors. I'm gonna use two colors for this warming stage. This is the French red ochre for the dark shadows, and later on I will be using a yellowish ochre tone for the rest of the skin tone. So I love, can you hear it? Can you hear the grit of it? You will enjoy using pastel pencils, especially if you use sanded paper. But sanded paper, like what I showed you, is very expensive. So I showed you how to make your own sanded paper using clear texture gesso on a matte board. So you will enjoy it. You will enjoy the sound of pastel pencils. But I'm encouraging all colored pencil artists to try pastel pencils, because if you are using Prismacolor or Polychromos already, I think you can already not transition, but you can add to your knowledge the idea of doing portraits using pastel pencils, because I really enjoyed it. Although I love colored pencils because of the realism that it can achieve, but with the artistic quality that pastel pencils can achieve, I still enjoy it. And the best part about pastel pencils is that blending is not a problem. It's no longer a problem. There's no burnishing, there's no heavy blending. Everything is very light. It is self blending actually, so I'm not really using any blender here. As you can see, I don't use brush, I don't use blending stump, I don't use anything. I just use pure pastel pencils to create the skin tone. I just make sure that I put enough layers of pastels on my sanded paper right here. As you can see, I'm using a lot of shades here, but it doesn't take me long to do this. Actually, this is really quicker and faster process compared to the layering that I do with colored pencils. So as you can see, the skin has already become very nicely warm. And on part 3 of this video, you will see this. This is the blushing stage, the final stage already, where we create the actual skin tone. So I see you on part